Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Bear Film Festival. This is a familiar face to me. I'm here with Johnny Greenlaw that I met, we think, 4 years ago
Yeah,
here?
it was maybe five.
Maybe five.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're
Yeah.
having fun. But Johnny did a wonderful film called Mommy's Box.
Yep.
And just a few words about Mommy's Box.
Yeah, that was the family drama. I actually acted in that one. I wrote, directed, and acted in that one. And Bill Sorvino played my brother in that film.
Right.
And it was about, a story about how it was family and family structure and how these two brothers put their mother on a pedestal and didn't see the humanity in her, right? And so I think it was very much relationship driven between mother and son, and how we, daughters I'm sure do it too, which I've spoken to a lot of people about it, where you see your parents in a different light, and the mother went through some traumatic things, and after her passing is when they kind of realized what she went through.
But that's the point, right? After her passing, right? That's the wake-up call a lot of the time. And we should all have that wake-up call, but I always think, and what I remember resonated about this film, thinking while I was watching it, they should have more respect for what she's going through while she's alive. Sometimes it's, what do we say, too little, too late?
Yes, and for them it was, but at least there was something that...
They had something,
They brought something out, and they were able to heal as much as they could, right? And for me, like, thematically, I like films that it's hope for another day, right? Like that's
what I remember. I remember about you that they end on the high note.
Yeah,
right. We like our happy endings.
It was hopeful, right? It wasn't fully completely tied off and all butterflies and sunshine, but it was and
lollipops and roses.
Yes, it was okay. He's going to be okay, and there's going to be another day, and we keep moving, right? And
so we have to just keep moving. Johnny got in touch with me and said, I'm going to be at the Black Bear Film Festival this year. And I'm like, oh, another film. No one was more surprised than me, because this film that you did now is so different from, and I love that. I think, like, how do people do this, right? And it's called The Refugee. We're screening it today. I'm very excited about seeing it. The film is about someone from Iraq. Iraq. Why? Tell me how all this came about for you.
Well, so I was living in New York City at the time, and I walked everywhere, and there was this homeless veteran that I always saw that served in Iraq, and so that was the seed, and I was like, wow, look at this guy. He's living on the street, and I don't know, I couldn't get it out of my head, and I was writing. I'm always writing. And,
you are always writing.
And so I started just writing this story about this guy, and then I needed more, and then I thought, what if there was this girl that was trying to find this guy? And if he was in Iraq, why not this girl that he possibly saved in Iraq, right? And so that's how it started. And then the story flipped from the story being about this soldier to being about this girl and what she went through, and then her coming to the United States, trying to find this guy.
Looking for this guy.
Yes.
Did you change how things were going to play out, like, part of the way through?
There was a big decision that I had to make.
There was a big decision
part
of the way through.
It was like, is it going to go this way or this way?
It's tough.
And I beat it up pretty good, and I was like, okay, let's go this way.
You put it in the mix master.
And I had to go with what I was feeling, and I was really drawn to her story. And so the lead is this girl, and it starts with her, 10, 12 years old in Iraq, and her family gets killed during the Iraq invasion, and this U.S. soldier saves her life, and she takes his cross, and his initials are inscribed on this cross. And so then, it fast forward pretty quick to her coming to the United States to live with her uncle, and her trying to get her citizenship, and her wanting to find this soldier. And so that's what drives the film, is like this search. And then it turns out being deeper, where she's trying to feel like does she fit in? Where does she fit in?
Oh yeah, that's immediately where I went with it.
And then her journey of getting her citizenship. So it's a really nice American dream type story, a search for something, right? And what's within, and not just what's within, but what's around you.
Around you. But there's a couple of things that you said here. First of all, this veteran that you used to pass, so many people walk by veterans. I mean, I've been around a bit. I've been through a lot of wars, and we know what often happens often happens with veterans, right?
That's it. I mean, stepping over them. You get to
They
the
step
point where
over, right.
it's just part of the scenery it becomes.
But the fact that
terrible.
we're stepping over them or that they're on the street, this is what blows me away. They're on the street to begin with.
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of people with issues. Why can we not support who they are, get them what they need? Or the ones that don't have issues, still get them what they need. To me, if you've served your country, right, you should be honored after.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're doing with this film.
Absolutely. And people will come up to me after seeing it and they're like, thank you so much with the soldier aspect of it, also the American dream aspect of it. So people are liking those two storylines, those two threads are really resonating with people. And it was important for me to highlight the veterans, and so I did what I could. Obviously the story takes turns and the whole thing with the homeless veteran, his storyline changed too. And so you'll see today. But I like to also draw the audience in. It's important for me when I write and make a film, it's important for me to think about the audience as well.
Yeah.
And I want to keep you on the edge of your seat. I want to keep you engaged.
You have to keep us engaged, right? We have to care about what's happening on the screen.
You have to love these characters or not, right? Or feel something, right? And so that's the most important thing for me is for you to feel something.
We call that empathy. Yeah. And I remember that about your last film too. I think what is lacking so much in society nowadays is empathy.
Yeah.
You made a film, obviously, that I know even without seeing it is empathetic.
It is.
You've got veteran, you've got refugee.
Yeah.
And these are topics that we're dealing with right now. And part of the biggest issue, political division issue is the whole thing. And I even though I know your intention wasn't political, it's, what?
The timing is crazy.
The timing's crazy, and we're talking about film. And you can't talk about film without talking about politics because everything is connected at the end of the day. And it is a way to get people to react and communicate. But the issue with the border, the issue with being refugees, I had somebody very close to me tell me, and they're in California, a very Tony area, this whole thing is really upsetting to me. And I thought they were going to say it's upsetting to them because it's people are doing things illegally. I couldn't figure out what was going to be upsetting. What was upsetting to them is people setting up carts on the corners selling food. Right. I live in Manhattan, and you were seeing veterans in Manhattan.
And LA, so
right. So the food carts have really become intrinsic, and I have to bring this up, and I'll bring it back to your film. The food carts are intrinsic to all of us right now because a lot of the people that are working in the city cannot afford $22 for lunch, and yes, that's what. In many of the neighborhoods, $16. For $5, for $7, for $10, they can get lunch. Yeah. We need to have the food carts, all right? And we need to make this accessible to people.
Yeah.
I bring this back to you. You're probably wondering, what rabbit hole is Wendy going down now? But
it's okay.
I bring it back to your film because when you make a film like you did about someone's story from Iraq and why it was so important for her to find this soldier that helped her, you are, again, and I talked about this with John DeLeo, our film historian, we are shining a light. What we are doing in the Black Bear Film Festival is bringing people together and shining a light on things you might not think of, on things that are happening out there. Yeah. Listen, we all get news. We can all read about it in the paper. But as a filmmaker, okay, you're making a difference.
Thank you, yeah. I hope so.
What percolated within you to make you want to make this film?
Yeah, a lot of the things you just mentioned, which is a country divided, right? Which drives me nuts, and I want to bring people together.
Yeah.
So it's important for me, if I could do it in any way, which I feel like this film does. It doesn't take any side. It's about this girl and what she's going through, and finding a place to fit in this world, right? Yeah. And I think anybody could relate to that. And so it's her story, it's her journey, and I think just the importance of. I like not taking a side, right? I like how I view things is you might like that one, you might like that one. Let's come and talk about it and let's see if we can find some common ground, which I think is what's been missing in the last 10, 12 years is that common ground. And it divides, house is divided and that's not good, And so if we could bring people together with this film, I'm happy about that.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do at the Black Bear Film Festival. We're here to show you films that will make you think, that will inspire you, and hopefully when you have these discussions with people, bring them together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm
you.
so excited that you're here again. When you reached
know.
out to me, it was like, oh my God, that's a familiar name.
Yeah, and Milford holds a special place in my heart. I love Milford.
Can you share with us what the special place is?
Sure, yeah. So I grew up in New York, and my parents had it was one of those RV parks called Lake Adventure. It's
Of course,
30 minutes
yeah.
away. And, from when I was 8 years old till 16, right? My formative years, I guess you'd say. I grew up on the lake. I'd come up here summers. We'd be lighting campfires, the blueberry bushes in the back.
I love it. The blueberries, the camp, the s'mores. We got s'mores.
And so, just doing things by the lake, the canoe in the lake. And so it was an experience I'll never forget. Milford is a special place for me and my family because we would come here, we'd have dinner at the inn or lunch and just love to walk around this town. And,
I love it.
And so it's special to me here. And so I love being able to screen here is amazing at this great theater.
Well, we're happy to have you back. We're happy that you brought yet another amazing film. And what do we say? You never can go home again, but you know what? You can. And you can do it with a film.
Yep.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.